chapter 21. After he appeared to the followers in Jerusalem, Jesus showed himself again to the disciples by the Sea of Tiberias, and he showed himself in this way. Gathered there together were Simon Peter, Thomas called the twin, Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and 2 others of his disciples. Simon Peter said to them, "I am going fishing." They said to him, "We will go with you." And they went out and got into the boat. But that night they caught nothing. Just after daybreak, Jesus stood on the beach, but the disciples did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to them, "Children, you have no fish, have you?" And they answered him, "No." He said to them, "Cast the net to the right side of the boat, and you will find some." So they cast it, and now they were not able to haul it in because there were so many fish. That disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, "It is the Lord." When Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he put on some clothes, for he was naked, and jumped into the sea. But the other disciples came in the boat, dragging the net full of fish, for they were not far from land, only about 100 yards off. When they had gone ashore, they saw a charcoal fire there with fish on it and bread. And Jesus said to them, "Bring some of the fish that you have caught." So Simon Peter went aboard and hauled the net ashore, full of large fish, 153 of them. And though there were so many, the net was not torn. Jesus said to them, "Come and have breakfast." Now none of the disciples dared ask him, "Who are you?" because they knew it was the Lord. Jesus came and took the bread and gave it to them, and did the same with the fish. This was now the 3rd time that Jesus appeared to the disciples after he was raised from the dead. And when they had finished breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" He said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." And Jesus said to him, "Feed my lambs." The second time he said to them, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." And Jesus said to him, "Tend my sheep." He said to him the 3rd time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter felt hurt because he had said to him for the 3rd time, "Do you love me?" And he said to him, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." And Jesus said to him, "Feed my sheep. Very truly, I tell you, when you were younger, you used to fasten your own belt and to go wherever you wished. But when you grow old, you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will fasten a belt around you and take you where you do not wish to go." He said this to indicate the kind of death by which he would glorify God. And after this, he said to him, "Follow me." Here I go. Praise to you, O Christ. You may be seated. Let us pray. Most holy and merciful and gracious God, risen Christ in our midst, you appear again in this gospel account to reveal to the disciples your presence and your glory. And today, as we hear your word spoken and as we listen, may we also recognize your presence in our midst in ways that might be new, that may be familiar, but always recognizing your love for us. Take the words that I've penned and the meditations of all our hearts, that they may glorify your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. You know, all of us who have been married, we actually practice polygamy. You know, every married person has 2 spouses. The person you thought you were marrying, and the stranger who came with the spouse. We've all understood that and had moments where that has become true. And it's not that any one person in the relationship is hiding anything. But we kind of go into a relationship with rose-colored glasses on, see all the positive things, and then realize, oh, kind of overlook some of those things that might become a problem later. You know, it was this past week I was at a Prepare and Enrich seminar, a counseling seminar for training for pastors and counselors in pre-marriage assessment and enrichment. And, you know, generally couples who are coming to be married, they're pretty optimistic. They're willing to work through anything, ready to, you know, do what they need to do to work on their growth areas. But then there's also couples who come to pastors and counselors who might be in conflicted relationships, or what they call a devitalized couple, where they're struggling. And that looks very different. The ball game looks very different. You know, it's like the pitcher throws the pitch, but the hitter's not looking. The spouse shares their needs and their feelings, and we were watching this video of this example while we're at the seminar, and the spouse is talking, is not able to look at their spouse. They have to be told by the counselor, say this to your spouse. Look them in the eye. Look back at one another. It's very simple communication of looking one another in the eye and communicating was gone. The very spouse that they had married and looked into their eyes dreamily at one time is now difficult. Difficult to look at them. Difficult to communicate. Resentment and betrayal often occur in what starts as a very hopeful marriage situation. And you know, about a year ago, I watched the movie Dead Man Walking about Sister Helen Prejean and her walk with a prisoner on death row. And there's a scene in this movie where Sister Prejean goes to visit the parents of the teenage daughter that this man had brutally raped and murdered. And in this scene, the mother recalls her last final moments with her daughter. She recalls that she was about to leave for work, and the hem of her skirt was coming loose, and so she went and got some safety pins and pinned it up quickly because they didn't have time to repair it. And she sent her off to work. And she gets tears in her eyes as she says, the last words I said to my daughter were about the hem of the skirt. If I would have known I would never see her again, I would have told her how much I love her. Some of you have tragically lost loved ones, sons or daughters or brothers or sisters or a parent. And maybe you replay in your minds over and over again the final moments that you had with this person. And we sometimes want to do it over again. We want to replay it differently, to have another chance. We rehearse another story in our mind in which we come out shining as our best selves in our hopes that we will see this person one more time. We say along with the woman in the movie, if I could do it again, I would embrace the person I love. I would tell them how much I love them. I would look them straight in the eye and speak the words. But after something like that, a tragedy, we go on with our lives. We continue with our daily chores, going to work, whatever it is we're used to doing. We try to go on. Somehow the world has turned gray and the nets are empty. The fruitfulness and joy can dwindle away into days of endless clouds and skies of gray. Peter and his friends have gone fishing, lost in their grief, weighed down by replays, trying to rewrite the story into something other than it was. While on the boat, they hear a shout from shore. Hello, my dear children. Hello, kiddos. Hello, friends. Maybe Jesus is recalling when he said to them, I long to gather you as a hen gathers her chicks under her wing. In essence, he's explaining, I love you guys. Cast your net on the other side. Look this way, I am here with you. And I will fill your nets with abundant grace. Jesus shows up. This is the third time that he's appeared to the disciples after he has been resurrected. And once they recognize Jesus, the response is immediate. John shouts it out. It is the Lord. He's here. He's back. Peter, being Peter, Mr. Enthusiastic and impulsive, he throws on his clothes and he jumps into the water in hope that Jesus will look him in the eye with that same love that he always showed him. Hope that Jesus will speak with him and let him offer his apologies, his words of regret and remorse at his denial of Jesus. Hope that he will be forgiven, embraced, and given a renewed sense of purpose. On Friday, I attended an open house for a new therapy and counseling center in Waunakee for a friend of mine. And they were very intentional about how they wanted people to feel when they came in. When people go to counseling, they tend to have a little anxiety and they're nervous. So they wanted to create an atmosphere that made people feel relaxed. And when you go into the counselor's offices, they have this flat screen TV. It looks like a TV or a monitor. And on the monitor is a picture of fire. There's the hot coals and the red and orange flames and the smoke. And they were saying when they got there how they would love to have a fireplace. Because as we all know, when you sit in front of a fireplace or you gather around a campfire, our gaze tends to look at the movement of the flames and it takes the focus off ourselves. And we sit in a circle around a campfire and we're able to talk and just be ourselves. Well, Jesus builds such a campfire and he invites the disciples to circle around. And while there, he feeds them with the bread and the fish. He feeds them like we will receive later today in communion. He reveals himself as the bread that satisfies, giving himself freely again and again. Whether you and I have denied Jesus 3 times like Peter did, Jesus still appears and fellowships with us, and he nourishes us. Whether we have doubted, like Thomas from last week, we heard about Thomas doubting that Jesus even was resurrected. Whether we come to church arguing with our family, whether we cried all night out of anguish over a lost loved one or a broken relationship, whether we have been incarcerated or we are in counseling for depression or mental illness, or living in a broken relationship, whether we've skipped school or never graduated, whether we have experienced conflict in the church that we've been a part of. It doesn't matter. Jesus still shows up. Jesus appears speaking terms of endearment, calling you to look in his eyes and see that he loves you. Jesus knows that we walk around oftentimes bowed down, tired and weary, but Jesus sees the church as it really is and loves us just the same. How much will we suffer for God? God transcends our suffering. God's love is more than the suffering we will endure on this earth. And Jesus asks us, just as he asked Peter, do you love me? Do you love me more than anything else in life? Yes, as much as your children. In the same manner that you love your family. Committed like you are to work or retirement. For more than your reputation, your image, or your stuff. Do you love me, and will you give your entire life to tend and feed my sheep, fellow disciples? You know, I just bought a new pair of swim goggles. Thought I'd bring them for you so you can see. How many of you swim? Any of you swim? All right. I'm not a great swimmer, but I'm kind of committing to trying to swim twice a week. And I wear contacts, so I need goggles. What do you think? What do you think? Think they'll do the job? All right, right. So I'm going to give them a try this week. So when I put on these swim goggles, they remind me of Peter. They remind me that I'm called to dive in, right? That same enthusiasm that Peter had for Jesus, for God's forgiveness, for that hope that Jesus offers. You know, I was having a conversation with a group of you this week, and we were talking, and I said, well, how can we have a picture of Olive Schultz when we walk into the narthex? Bless her heart, she was probably a wonderful woman. But where's Jesus when we walk in the door? Do we see Jesus? How do we see Jesus? How do we witness to others about Jesus? Or we look at the cross, or the altar, or the pulpit, pews. They're all important things. They're all symbols of God's redeeming love. But they're not Jesus. Do you love me, Jesus asked, more than all of these? Do you love me so much that you will nourish and care for my sheep no matter the cost? People, it's not about us. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about Jesus and God's love for us. And God showing up over and over and over again in our lives. You know, I saw dolphins in Florida at SeaWorld a week ago. And I was in conversation with one of the new up-and-coming trainers. And she told us invariably that when she announces information about the dolphins, she's standing in front of it's a nursery, so it's a pool as big as this sanctuary. And there's mothers and dolphins swimming in the pool behind her. She says, invariably when I start making announcements, they quietly swim up behind her and flick their tail and get her wet. Just in a playful way. To say, here we are. They want a little attention. It's like when you're on the phone as a parent, right? And the kids start wanting your attention. How are we showing up in love with one another with a heart of play, joy, and anticipation? Diving in and giving our best. Our time, our talents, our money, our expressions of love, our eye contact, our arms lifted in praise, or our heads bowed in prayer. If we say all are welcome here, then we must mean all. The ones with alcohol on their breath, the person whose head has no hair due to cancer treatments, the formerly incarcerated, or those with probation ankle bracelets on their ankles, the addicted, the divorced, the gay and transgender, the one with green hair and tattoos, the hungry, the widow, and the mentally ill. So how is Jesus showing up in your life today? How is Jesus showing up? What terms of endearments do you share with your loved ones? What names do you call your children or your spouse or your brothers or sisters? So today I'd like to take just a couple minutes and have you gather in groups of about 3 or 4 and talk about how Jesus is showing up in your life today and what terms of love you use to show that you care for those around you. Share what you're comfortable sharing. Don't share anything you wouldn't want to share. And if anybody is sitting alone,